We'll do just a simple dinner bet.
I like that.
With,
With dessert.
Because, I'm going to win, so I can rub it in over dinner as well.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Golfbet BetSuite, where we're after round one at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Well, it's been an interesting day, and I've got my guests here again, ready to rumble. We've got Rick Gehman, of course, Ali McCann, Pat Mayo, and, of course, Chris Money Mills. It's been an interesting day. As we said, we've had a big round from Akshay Bhatia to lead this tournament, and our contest has started to get rolling. We've got a leader, we've had some ups and we've had some downs. It's been interesting. Just your quick first takeaway on how it went for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great day. Competition-wise, I got on the board early, but we saw great golf being played. We saw difficult golf being played, and we saw a range of scores that I think is going to make for a very exciting rest of the week.
Today was a difficult day for me, but I want to remind you guys of the 2004 World Series, where the Red Sox were down 3-0 and came back and won. So don't count me out yet.
So you're the Red Sox in this scenario.
I am the Red Sox.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, this competition could have been over today if one or two breaks go my way, but they don't. But hey, this is why we're going back tomorrow. We're going to keep firing, but I'm close. Felt like I'm close. I got some bad breaks. We're going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't smack today, but I wouldn't do anything different, right? I tried to start strong. It was exciting early with Fitz going -3 through 3. Thought he maybe would be the guy for me, but there's always tomorrow and the next 2 days after that.
Of course, we'll have a quick look at the leaderboard of this competition. We are trying to get to Sawgrass. The road is to Sawgrass. The winner is going to get to go play there and obviously bring a friend or a fan or whatever you might look forward to. So we can see that the only person in the positive, Rick, you've got a good start. Bit of a goose egg for a couple of people. And Pat, we'll get into your bad beats in a minute, but you're in a good spot. I'm going to reference that leaderboard again before we get in depth into your bets and how they went and what we're looking for tomorrow when we head out there. But Akshay Bhatia, a big 8 under. He's our first round leader. Tommy Fleetwood flies home late to get to 7 under. We've got a couple of names underneath that. And the big names way down, we mentioned that pre-tournament favourite, Scotty Scheffler at 3 under. I want to know first, before we get into things, who wins from here?
Oh, this is Scotty Scheffler's tournament, but we are not. This has been over since before we started. It is currently over. He made an ugly bogey on his final hole of the day. He did not miss a shot the rest of the day. He tapped in for par everywhere. Distance control was pristine. This is over. This is over.
Okay. Hallie, you have the same thoughts?
I don't know. I can't dismiss what Rick said. Obviously, it's Scotty Scheffler. I, of course, would love to see Tommy actually pull this off, but we've been down that road before, and you never know. So I won't put too many eggs in that basket, but
we'll see. All right,
see.
Pat?
Yes, it's looking pretty good for him. But the odds are starting to creep up. It's funny, if you told me, we spoke at length yesterday about how plus 280, not a great bet for a 69-person field. But now he's only 5 strokes back. And then you look at the names ahead of him on the leaderboard. Who is there that you have any confidence in whatsoever that they would close this tournament? Is it Tommy Fleetwood? I don't think so. The only guy who's up there who is playing what I would call sustainable golf through one round, weirdly, is Akshay.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to gain 6 strokes on approach but he's not putting. He's not chipping. He's not doing poorly. But everyone else who's up there, even your boy Fitz, #1 in putting. If he's not making those putts, he might be 3 over.
Money, you're not going for the favourite from here, surely.
Absolutely not. His odds have increased, right? He started at 280, and I think last I saw, after making that bogey, maybe plus 380, plus 400. I mean, if you like Scotty pre-tournament, this is an opportunity for you to double down. I will not be doing that. I look at that leaderboard. I'm expecting the lead tomorrow to be, at the end of the day, probably -10. I don't see, Bhatia going crazy. I really like the guys that I had for first round leader. Right, you have Ben Griffin -4, you have Henley -4, Fitz is at -3, but don't sleep on Bud Cauley, right? People think, who is Bud Cauley, but I'm not surprised to see he's been sneaky good.
I might be I'll just have a nap real quick and then get back to Bud Cauley. But no, look, that's a bit harsh on Bud. He's obviously threatened a few times, a few weeks here and there, but it's been a long season for him and others. I will say, though, is that the biggest surprise name on the board for you guys? The guys that did well, not staying away from your bets, your pre-tournament bets, etc. On those boards, who's the most surprising?
That's probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
But you pointed out, though, these guys that hit draws do really well, and he's like Mr. Draw.
Yeah, right. He works it right to left more than anybody else in the world. The big surprise to me is the number that we saw. I didn't think 62 was out there. And then
Wait. Somebody yesterday said 63 by Akshay Bhatia in a throwaway line. Who was that?
Was it Pat?
Yeah.
Did you put anything on that?
What happened? How did I lose today, Ben? Who beat me today?
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to get that in a minute. But yeah, sorry, go
So
on.
to see the 62 and then basically 10 hours later, Tommy Fleetwood comes in.
Yeah.
And like this course did not change throughout the day. It played basically a stroke under par all day long, and it withstood all 69 golfers. That to me was the biggest surprise, is how similar it played all day long.
Any different thoughts on surprises?
And it was the moment we showed up at the course, the heat was on. And it got a little bit hotter throughout the day. Obviously, midday it's going to be a little bit hotter, but there wasn't a huge discrepancy. Did the morning guys get it a little bit easier because it was a little bit cooler? They're not just sweating walking down the fairway. Didn't feel like that was the case today.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's dive into what we got, your bets from today. All right, we'll start with our leader, Rick. Obviously, you got 2 wins up. You were the first on the board. Harry Hall with, 5.5 birdies? He had to get over 4.5. He made the over. Yeah, not much of a sweat. You were in it the whole way.
He was drafting off Akshay. They were playing together, and they went out early, and they took advantage of this golf course, and they made a ton of birdies. I'm thrilled with that. I'm thrilled with the day in general, right? We closed well with Chris Kirk beating Tony Finau. The 2 losses I thought were okay losses. Hideki missed it by a stroke on his single round total, and then Nick Taylor played great golf and got edged out by Colin Morikawa. So I'm not too upset about anything, but I'm most worried about what's going to happen now. Right? I mean, they were maniacs starting at 0, and now they've got to I'm terrified about what's coming down the line.
I'm assuming you'll try to keep it slow and steady using the data as we go forward.
I would like to think that as well, Ben. I don't know. In theory, that's great. In practice, I know that if one of these guys catches a 8-1, 9-1, 10-1, 30-1, or something else that's lurking out there, I'm going to be in big trouble.
Okay, speaking of big bets that are out there, let's go to not your wins, because you had some today, but let's go to the big sweat and the big loss on the, plus 1150 parlay?
Plus 1150.
Run us through the ones that got up first.
Listen, we did very well. I played the 2 that I went solo on head-to-head. It wasn't so much that I liked the guys that I was betting on. I just very much disliked the guys that I was betting against. I hated Shane Lowry coming into this tournament. Let's go pick on him. I hated Jake Knapp coming into this tournament. Let's pick on him. So we got those 2. Those ones were easy. They didn't even come close. Then we got bailed out a little bit later on. There was a 4-shot swing on the 16th hole between Sam Burns and Keegan Bradley. So that flipped that matchup back to Burns, who was 4 over. I think he shot 36. Yeah. What did he shoot? 40 on the front 9. And then started playing a little bit better coming home. So that was all great and everything. And then I had Harry Hall over Akshay.
Yeah. Harry Hall goes out, shoots 6 under, brings in your birdies. Yep. But the only guy he didn't beat, or 2 guys in the end, but one of the guys he didn't beat, his playing partner, Akshay Bhatia, to scupper your big win.
Which is bad, because Akshay is my favorite player. So betting against him, I guess, was karma against me. Yeah. So, listen, you're very close. You're 2 strokes away from being able to a gigantic lead.
Right.
Just tomorrow, I'm just going to hit it. How about that?
You also had another sweat late in the day. Chris Kirk was hovering for that top 10 first round.
Yeah, of course he was. I watched him here behind us at 14, got it up and down from 33 yards, he left it way short. Then on 15, what does he do? Dart to 3 feet. Let's go. You need 1 birdie to get inside that top 10. We'll cash a 5-1, be out to a big lead over everyone else. What do you do with the 3-foot putt? You miss it. What happens on the par 5? Well, you get into the rough, leaks out a little bit to the right. You have an up and down from 15 yards. What happens? Oh, it doesn't get over the hill. It almost rolls back to where you're going. So then now you have a putt from the fridge. So it all turned out to be very, very bad coming down the stretch. It just was not my day.
Yeah. But for your fans out there, if they grabbed onto some of your bets, they did have some winners, and that's something that you can, lay your hat on.
Yeah, but I didn't win.
Yes,
I'm not Money Mills over here. I'm not giving the plays for the people to win money. I'm trying to win money for me.
Unfortunately, Ali McCann, your fans did not pick up any points today, but you were sweating one particular matchup all day. We were having a giggle about it throughout. We needed Sepp Straka to do a little worse, just a little.
A little bit. Listen, I don't work out. I don't go to the gym. So sweating out that bet was the most I've sweat probably ever in my life. It was difficult to watch. We were keeping track of it all day. He was right on that number at 1 under, and then I would say probably the back 6 right before it just did not go in my favor.
He got the birdie on the late par 5 on the 16th that put him ahead of your bet. we got a small sniff of something, which is the roller coaster we all get when you're sweating these
You
bets.
should have seen, Ben. You should have seen
Yeah.
her face light up when on 18 he hits it in on top of the grandstand, and she's thinking,
I'm
"Wait,
looking at
can he
him.
make
I'm
double
like,
from
this
there?"
is it.
Like, can we make a double without a water ball? Look, it's possible. And then what? Just under 3 feet.
Yeah.
Needed to miss it for the bet to
Rick
cash.
was like, I'm going to bring you down to earth. This is not going to be a double.
It's not gonna make double from
Yeah.
So unfortunately, yeah, that one didn't hit. But I will say this: your bets didn't hit today.
Yes.
But I'm going to touch on something because obviously we also yesterday had some
Yeah.
bets that are for the overall tournament. Your winner might not be doing so great, but who is looking very good is you had a top 10 and a top 20
Yeah.
for multiple units, not 1 unit, 2 and 3 units on Russell Henley and Tommy Fleetwood. So
Right.
you must be feeling pretty confident at least that you've got something brewing.
Yeah, I do feel a little confident. Of course, I put 2 units on Russell Henley for a top 10. He's right in the top 10. Obviously, it's only round 1, so I'm not going to get too excited. But Tommy Fleetwood, 3 units for a top 20 finish is looking pretty
So
juicy
if he
right
doesn't
now.
cash that,
Yeah.
then we might need to throw him in the lake here behind 14 on your behalf, right? Like, let's hope
Tommy
he can...
he's my comfort better. I explained that to you guys yesterday. So if he blew that, it would be.
Would that be blacklist for you? Would that be the end?
If Tommy's not on the blacklist,
If he's
by
not
now,
on the blacklist by now, yeah.
Never going
But
on.
see,
the
He's never
he's not-
going on
Okay,
it.
so that I'll just segue into that. Do you guys? You don't have to name names unless you want to. Do you have blacklisted bettors?
Brian Herman.
I assume you maybe don't as
I
a
do
data
not.
guy.
I do
Brian.
not.
You just play the numbers,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
But feel is there certain people you just won't touch?
I have a banned list. That's what
Yeah.
I referred them to as. So Denny McCarthy or Denny McNuggets. That's kind of, he's someone who's banned. Every time I pick him, he just doesn't show up. Every time I bet against him, he's the greatest putter on tour, as we know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always going to be some people that, if it's whether it's a big parlay and it's the last leg, or it's somebody that you needed to do something significant for you. Yeah, there's guys that I just avoid, even if it makes sense.
Again, that speaks to what we've been looking at here with the 4 different personalities we've got here. We've got feel betters, we've got full data, and it's a different way to do things. Even with our competition today, and yes, data is leading, but not by a significant margin at this stage. So it shows there are many ways to skin a cat, in my vernacular, or many ways to do things. I think that both ways can work, right? Would you agree that both ways can work?
I think that the more I come to events, the more I realize there's more to this, right? You see guys, they might show up and have heat wrap around their body. You're like, oh boy, what does that mean, right? Or you might see a really difficult range session. Or you might see, hey, they just got a little bit unlucky. They hit a good shot, it hits a sprinkler head, it goes in the water, whatever it might be. It's not the end of the world. On paper, okay, he lost a stroke on approach, but it's really not a huge deal. So the more that I come out here, I shouldn't say this out loud, I sway a little bit away from the data.
What about going the other way? Are you starting to look at a few numbers as you're trying to catch it up on the next few days?
Yeah, I do, and I think you change your approach. So, like you said, data is just really important, because you look at a guy today who potentially he just didn't putt very well, right? And you think to yourself, well, he lost his matchup today to somebody who went absolutely nuts, like you said, Fitz, best putter. He's not going to repeat that tomorrow necessarily. So that's where you kind of look at the data and you say, I'm expecting him to putt a little bit worse tomorrow, and then you go on the opposite guy. And again, data. I like to be more of a feel person, and I wouldn't change anything that I did today.
Yeah.
Right? I was going for the home run, and I would do the same thing for the next few days.
You can also learn a little bit too much, like when you spoke with Novak yesterday.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's like, yeah, I'm just not hitting him well. It's like, well, turned out he was hitting it pretty well.
Yeah. Turned out he did okay.
And you guys too did you miss out? I know I'm going to give a little bit away here too. I always tell you, if you have an interaction with a player that's out of the blue and it's a good one, perhaps you should look at doing something with them. Didn't you get a pretty significant elevator ride with Justin Rose, who put himself well in the mix?
It's okay. He didn't end up as first round leader, so I feel like we both feel good about it.
Yeah, when he was like -5 through 11 holes, I looked at Pat, and last night at the hotel, rode the elevator with Rosie, and just a great guy. He honestly looked pretty tired, but it was just, I thought, okay.
He told us he was tired.
Yeah.
He's like,
But funny enough, somebody who played in the Pro-Am, who was staying at the hotel with us, actually played the Pro-Am with Burns. And he said, he's got a lot going on with the family and stuff. Maybe he's not 100% into it. So, off air, I found that information out last night, and I gave it out to the clients. So, yeah, we hit Rosie today for plus money on the matchup. So
I love that. I
that
love that.
information is important.
Yeah, okay, so we know that you struck out today on your
Yep.
bets, but as you said, you went down swinging. Not that long ago, folks. It's a little solemn. He was a little struggling a little, but late in the day, the smile just burst out And that was because, if you remember from yesterday's show, Kevin, you may have found the water on 18 and giving Hideki Matsuyama a lead in a little matchup you two had going. Is that the momentum you need going into tomorrow?
That's the spark that I need. You can see it, the sparks in my eye. Yeah, so Matsuyama, he actually finished strong, finished with birdie, posted 1 under, and then Kevin Yu was also on that number.
He was there.
Came up to 18. It's only day 1, but he could feel the pressure from the BetSuite. So pulls it left into the water, makes double. So I'm in pretty good shape with three rounds to go.
3 rounds to go. You're only up 2. It's not a bad spot to be. The problem with Kevin Yu is always going to be that dreaded +9 round that he has in him. I remember backing him at the Masters. It was exactly the same thing. Just like, oh, no, man, what are you doing? You're missing these 2-foot putts again.
Yeah.
The putter was bad for Kevin Yu today. The ball striking outside of one bad drive was actually quite good. And we watched him. He was on TV a bunch. Like, oh, if they're showing Kevin Yu, this is going in. It's like, oh, no, he missed the putt.
Every putt.
It was crazy. So maybe tomorrow, continue to hit those greens in regulation, keep it dry on 18, and all of a sudden we're back into this.
So you feel like you're still a chance to take his extra spot if he happens to win and come from
Absolutely. The problem is going to be that if he doesn't get Hideki as the low Asian player for the tournament, he might not win. So I still need him to win, just Kevin Yu to beat Hideki.
You're threading the needle now, trying to figure
behind.
out.
I'm trying to really
find the spot, right? Like, and I will say, I'll touch on that. Like Ali, you still have some overall bets that are in the mix. We've got the top Asian market with Hideki, and you've got the top Oceania, although he's behind a couple of my Aussie mates. Foxy is still there and can still pull that off. So there are some units out there that you may still pick up from that. All right, like moving forward to tomorrow, right? We don't have all the markets up yet. So we don't have right now your exact 5 units that you get to spend in the competition for round 2. We're going to be looking into that in the next few hours. But what you can tell us is certain players or certain things you're looking at as you get ready to prep those, okay? So I will actually come back with you, Money. Like, where are you going to try to make up this differential?
So there's a lot of options going to be available going into tomorrow. And typically after a very strong round, when people tend to go low, as we all know, it's very hard to back up that round. So I don't see the leaders running away. I actually like the guys in the -4 to 4 under, 5 under range to be end of round 2 leader. And a lot of the times those odds are juicy. And you can kind of ladder play that with a top 5, top 10. But I do like someone going out in the morning tomorrow, maybe beat before the heat. That's kind of in that range to put up some numbers. So I'm going to tie my matchup parlays around that, but also going to be looking for value for guys to move up the board early.
You've given us a hint there. You're going to put up another parlay in the matchups at some point, probably.
I am.
As part of your 5 units. You're going to look at the leader after round 2 market as well. Okay, so that's where you're going. You also mentioned guys not necessarily being able to keep up a hot start and others. What I want to know, because I'm going to come to you now, Ali, is you love the bounce back factor.
I do.
Right? You love the fact that some guys who are maybe not at their best in round 1 may bounce back.
Yes.
Now, the guy that you mentioned yesterday who may win was Victor Hovland.
Right.
Pretty sure he's not winning the tournament for him. We never know. Anything's possible. But you still expect a potential bounce back, and maybe some of your units will go there.
I do. So obviously I was high up on him to win 35-1. I expected his approach play to really show out, and that did not happen. So I want to remind you guys, back in 2023, and Ben, you and I witnessed this in real time. So he finished round 1. What was he? Tied for 59th, 9 shots back. He was out on that driving range after just stressing, hitting shots, couldn't figure it out. He finished that tournament tied for 13th. Yeah. Anything is possible. Tomorrow, he tees off early in the morning, good conditions. Like you said, you want to go for guys early. And so I do expect him to possibly have a bounce back and maybe come through with the top 20. We saw on ESPN Bet that it was plus 1,000 right now. So he had a horrible round, almost finished dead last. Not dead last, though. There is somebody I do like that is dead last to bounce back tomorrow, but I do expect him to maybe recover from this.
I love that. Again, it's a different way of thinking, and I'll come to you guys a minute on this thinking of the bounce back. Is it silly to just completely discount guys at the back of a leaderboard, or is there this bounce back factor ability where you can get some juice? There might be something, maybe in the data scenario, it's like a guy who's just way off his normal numbers.
Yeah, like you expect everybody to eventually get back to what their baseline is, and that could be good, that could be bad. There's also the added factor of kind of the nothing to lose.
And no cut, right?
No cut. You're guaranteed 3 more rounds. You've got a situation where, like, what is Victor Hovland playing for, right? He's pretty safe to be into next week. He can just kind of go nuts, start being as aggressive as he wants to be, and maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. But there is a situation where we're going to have a lot of the guys doing that, just kind of freewheeling it around TPC Southwind over the course of the next 3 days. And you expect guys like, I think Cam Young is like the perfect example of this. Cam Young knocked the cover off the ball today, lost 2 strokes around the green, another stroke with the putter. He won last week. Like, sky is the limit right now over the final 54.
Let's not rub that one in my face.
Especially when you look, there's 2 data points you can look at here. Cam Young, who's been statistically the best putter basically over this past 6 weeks on tour, is it now flipping back to what Cam Young used to be, or is this just a blip, getting used to these new greens? He's never putted well at this course, so maybe that's just something that's going to linger with him forever. But it's the around the green that just seems crazy. Yeah, it's like he chipped it into the water 5 times based on the numbers.
And he has a lot better touch than a lot of his like big hitting peers do. Those guys that mash it don't usually have great hands around the green. He does. So I don't think he loses. He's not going to lose 3 strokes in the short game categories over every round this week.
And the other bit of noise that you can find in the data as well, like someone who was like Davis Riley is a perfect example. He lost a bunch off the tee, he lost a bunch on approach. But there are certain guys that you'll see right around 0. Like, what happened to them? Well, there's so much water around here.
Yeah.
One bad water, if you hit 2 balls into the water, you could have hit 16 great approaches and 2 water balls, and the overall numbers will make it look like you had a very bad day on approach. So if you start looking more at the mean, take out the top 2, take out the bottom 2, and see what they were doing most of the time, then you hope you run on the good side of variance where they don't hit it into the water. You pull a Shane Lowry, you hit the rocks and bounce onto the green somehow. Don't know how that's played. It's right there. Crazy.
That was where I had a little bit of
hope.
I had a little bit of hope, and then he ruined it with the putt.
Off that,
because he was behind all day, and then right here in front of our eyes, he almost bounced back.
What happens when you can't putt?
No, I don't tolerate Shane Lowry slander here.
Well, I am going to continue to do it because I might go back back in on old Shane tomorrow. So,
yes, okay. While we're here, tell me. I'll come back to another one I want to talk to you about. But where are you looking?
Harry Hall's a fade tomorrow. Harry Hall got up and down from everywhere on this course today. He missed basically every green and then made every 5 to 15 foot putt. We were watching. We were just like, oh, he's finally going to give one back. No, not going to happen. Dead center of the cup. Now, maybe the driving and the irons get better, and it just kind of flips a little bit. To go 6 under again is going to be pretty tough for him. Connors is really the one to look at. The problem when you do this with Connors is that you're playing with fire. You know he can't chip. You know he can't putt. But what he did today was well beyond
Canadian, folks.
What is going on with Corey Connors most of the time. Like, Cam Young had good driving and approach numbers and, like, very bad chipping, pretty bad putting. Connors is somehow even worse. If he gets it back just a little bit, he is going to be absolutely fine.
And he coughed it up on 18 where he couldn't get it out of the fairway bunker. Like, that doesn't happen 2 days in a row. I'm with Pat that Connors is probably.
And then you start looking at fade players. So Harry Hall would be one of them for me. Not a strong one. I'm going to lean into whoever Dietrich gets matched up with when the markets come out, bet against Thomas Dietrich. I think he chipped in twice today. Novak is another one, or Guy Novak.
He was leaking oil coming home.
He was, and he still gained 2.5 strokes around the green. So a lot of excellent chipping from those guys. And the thing is, when you start looking at around the green stats, if you have the ability to pile up a lot of strokes around the green, that means you are not hitting greens. That's bad. You don't want to do that. And if that ball just rolls 1 rotation to the right and doesn't drop in that hole, that's not 2.5. You're bleeding 3 strokes right away.
Give me someone you're looking at for tomorrow.
Yeah, so I think the Corey Connors and Cam Young is a really good place to start. Ricky Fowler.
That was a surprise.
Ricky Fowler's a couple under. He got out early. He played well, seemed to keep the golf course very much in front of him. And we've talked about this all week long. A guy who has been getting into signature events thanks to sponsor invites does not want to be that guy anymore. And he needs a 2-way tie for T17 or better. I love the way his game is trending. That is like my favorite under the radar. Not many people talking about him going into tomorrow.
I love this because that brings the bubble back into play, right? We talked about this yesterday. We talked about guys on the bubble and whether or not you could bet them for top 20. There was something we talked about on the ESPN bet feed today about the guys who were in that 60 to 70 mark needing a top 20, uniquely knowing what they need to finish and trying to fight that through. So that's a guy, Ricky Fowler, that's in that bracket. Another guy on the bubble, 50th, our man, Minwoo Lee. Now, this surprised me. I'm the Aussie. I love the man. He did not cook today.
No.
There was no air fryer. There was no slow cooker. There was nothing. It was rotten food today. But another bounce back possibility because he has that to fight for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he's 50th anymore. So I think, here's the thing. It cannot get worse than it was today. He lost more than 3 shots off the tee, a shot and a half around the green. He gained on putting against the field, so a little hope right there, but it literally cannot get worse. And I do think that maybe it's worth taking a matchup or maybe an under round 2 score because
yeah, he's going to fight.
he's going to cook.
I'll say this about Minwoo. He is going to probably shoot 65 or 75 tomorrow. So you have to decide.
Okay. I hope
he's
you're right.
Yeah, he's going to go after it. I wouldn't sit in those markets, like you said. I wouldn't go for the top 20 at the end of the week.
No.
But
We're
I
just
would
doing
potentially look at him having an under, a low score, or a matchup win because he's not going to die wondering. He's just going to go after it. And again, is that something you guys can look at? Look at that bubble. Who's going to have a crack?
Yeah, I mean, I think some guys treat it differently. There is a couple guys who have said, okay, now that I made it into the top 70, like that's almost good enough. Like I wasn't even expecting to get here. So everybody's different, which is why it's hard for me as a data guy to try to get into some of these guys' brains because every person's different. Everybody's got different motivation. Everybody's got a different slot.
And when you're trying to weight it at the same time, when you have these unknown variables, you just can't put them in the data set. It's impossible. Like, what are you going to... Then it becomes your judgment.
Yeah, I have
which
to.
Is wrong.
I haven't.
right.
I haven't installed the
Chris's
brain.
judgment is right there, right?
I'm just going to follow
Field
Chris.
guy. Come on, field guy.
Come on,
tell
Monty,
us.
tell us.
I mean, for me,
Tell us.
for Minwoo Lee, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And he could go low tomorrow, or he could shoot 73. But for me, this is a guy that's going to be chasing pins, right? So that's an opportunity to go for his over birdies. Throw in some bogeys, some doubles, some triples. We saw some big numbers today. But I like him for his over birdies tomorrow.
Yeah, that was the thing with Harry Hall. As he was struggling I was like, is he going to get up? I don't care.
Yeah,
right? I don't care how many
I love
birdies
those
he
markets.
makes.
The birdie
Just
markets
go
are the
take
best.
birdies.
Yeah, we need to see more. Let's hope you're out there. Get the birdie market on Minwoo Lee. We know he's running last, but we still want the market over under birdies, right? We want to see those markets so we can attack those. Again, you're going to have your 5 units for tomorrow. Just in general, I know you're talking about at least one bet potentially being from here to the end, i.e. top 20 by the end.
Yes.
But will you do most of yours to finish after round 2, or will you do a sprinkle of both? Where will you guys probably lean?
There are some juicy
question.
top 10, top 20 live odds right now on certain guys that I do like. And because there are certain guys, plural, that I like, maybe I can start putting all of them together. We didn't even talk about J.J. Spawn, who I have a bet on to win on this tournament. Yeah. He's another one that the data shows should be a lot better tomorrow if he can make a putt. Could not make a putt all day. And we know he can putt. That's usually something he can do all right. But he happened to be playing with Tommy Fleetwood, and he just got buried by Fleetwood. And I think we might throw down on this tomorrow.
I feel like you are going to want to make you want to be on the board before the end of, by the end of tomorrow, right?
Yeah, by the end of tomorrow, I'll probably be at the top of the board.
I love it.
And the reason for it is I want to have units at the end of the day, but I'm also going to take into consideration what's happened in this tournament to this point. Yep. So I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to take something just to take it because it's juicy. But I do think that there's value. And if you liked someone, similar to what Rick said, if you liked someone pre-tournament and they just didn't have the day that they needed to today and dropped on the odds board on the top 5, top 10, top 20, this is an opportunity for you to actually double down on that player and invest less and win more. So I'm a big advocate for that. But in terms of tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at matchups. The dogs ate today. Like a lot of underdogs won their matchups today. So going back into it, what bettors need to consider is when an underdog wins, for the following day, their odds are actually less than they were the previous day. So you can get a lot of value on those favorites that probably statistically should have won today. So it's a great opportunity on a Friday to put together a faves parlay.
I see. Similar for you?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's hard to overstate how much golf is left.
Yes.
There's a ton of golf left. We saw a 15-shot range of scores out there. This leaderboard is going to flip over 3 more times before we conclude this whole thing. Yeah. I think from my perspective, I want as much information as possible. If I was playing in this event, I'd be looking at the leaderboard coming down the stretch because I want to know where I stand. I think getting resolutions to bets is valuable in this game, so I will probably get my resolutions tomorrow as opposed to continuing to push.
You're in front, so you have the opportunity to essentially add more pressure by doing that, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you can leave them. You could get a few things that'll finish Sunday,
right?
But you're in a position where you can make them sweat and make them think they have to chase hard.
And I just want to know every day when we sit here where I stand.
Yeah, you can sit up there in first place every day except the last day.
I know.
That's fine by me.
I know.
Because with the way that you've structured your card versus even all the way down, because Ali has these futures with Henley and Fleetwood that are both looking really good right now. And then Money and I over here, we both have some extra stuff coming down. Like I still have a 30-1 outright winner that's very much in the mix. An 18-1 outright winner that if one of those can come through for me, it just kind of wipes everything away. But if Rick can just pile up a little bit each day, and one of those guys for all of us just don't hit, he wins.
Yeah, right. My EV was recognized here on Thursday. They have a lot of future value still existing out there that has me. Like I'm well aware of that.
Okay, well, before we get finished here, you guys had that side bet we mentioned earlier with Hideki and Kevin Yu. I've heard you talking back here a minute. Are you starting to put together some extras as well, some further side?
Yeah, well, we got to walk the course today. We want something to compete with each other. So we're going to make a side bet on this. You know, maybe I was thinking we could put up some units on the side. Maybe I'll get 2 of yours for the next day, but no. We'll do just a simple dinner bet.
I like that.
With
dessert.
Because, you know, I'm going to win, so I can rub it in over dinner as well. That'll just be, but we'll take one favorite, one dog, and something that's right around even money.
That's fair.
So let's do some head-to-heads.
Let's do it.
What do we want? What do we want to take here?
Well, you've got some. You're going to give us some.
I'm going to give them to you right now.
If you can
Okay,
give
I'm
them
going
to
to
us right
go.
now.
I'm going to take Glover. So you get Hovland.
So I'll take Hovland over Glover as a slightly less favorite, I'm assuming, than he would have been today when he got blown out. But I'll go back on the Victor wagon.
Okay.
I will take JJ Spawn.
You're taking Spawn, so I'll take Fleetwood.
So I'll be a big underdog in that one. So those are our 2 dogs. What's one we can do for even?
And one that you're sweating out anyways. You're going to take Kevin Yu, and I'll take Grillo.
Oh, that's a fun one. You. My man. That's going to be a fun sweat tomorrow.
Now, the actual bets for their competition will be seen on all the social media sites with your own personal ones, plus the Golfbet social media will make sure that we have that for the people to see tonight and early in the morning before the round kicks off in case they want to follow you in and see how you're going. We will be back here at the 14th hole again, TPC Southwind, or most of the day tomorrow, especially at 3 p.m. where there's a meet and greet with these lovely people.
I can meet Rick Gehman.
Yeah. You guys can meet, you can greet, you can shake hands. There'll be prizes, giveaways, all sorts of things here. So if you're in town, if you're coming here tomorrow, make sure you make the trek out to the 14th hole. We know it gets hot, but it's going to be worth it. You see some great golf out here. We have shade.
We have shade.
Yeah, that's nice. We're legit. We have some great promos. As I said, we have some great prizes. But that'll be it for us today at the Bet Suite here for Golfbet. We will be back tomorrow, as I said. Make sure you check us out there.